Hello everyone, I'm Sharanya PS. In this session, I will be discussing one of the very important concept pattern displaying. It is one of the common questions asked in most of the placement drive or in the interviews. Now, I will be discussing in detail with different example how we can display the pattern in different ways. Suppose if the given pattern is like this, usually the question will be asked to write the code to get the output for the given pattern. In the very first example here, we are taking one kind of the pattern, that is star display. Star is mentioned. This is how we need to get as a final output. Some of the basic questions that we have to ask ourselves and find the answers before printing the or before writing the code is first and foremost thing. Whenever some output, how we need to get as a result or the pattern what we want to display, first we have to see the output or the pattern in which how many number of rows are present. So as we see, first thing we have to identify the number of rows that are present in the pattern. So first thing that we have observed in this pattern is there are total 4 rows. Next question is, what is the pattern that we want to display? Here it is a star pattern, or sometimes it will be numbers or some alphabets or some other combination of these alphabets or patterns or some numbers. That is second question that we have to identify is what is the result that we or what is the final output what we want to display. Here it is nothing but the star. And how many columns are exist here? That is, in the first row there is only one star, in the second row there is 2, and in the third row there is 3 stars, and in the fourth row there are 4 stars. So we have identified 2 aspects. That is, there is total 4 rows exist in a pattern, and second thing, we are supposed to print the pattern is star, and in each row these are like, first it will be 1, and next time it will be 2, next time it will be 3, and next time it will be 4. It is in a increasing order. So these 2 are the conclusion result what we obtained by analyzing the pattern. Now, if we start coding, how we can proceed to write these pattern as a output. First and foremost thing, in the previous session in detail I have discussed what is meant by a nested loop. Here best option what we can choose is, we can choose the nested for loop in order to perform this operation. So here we have to run with the 2 different for loop. One for loop is to print the number of rows. First for loop we are using for loop to print the number of rows, and the second for loop what we are using, this is the first for loop what we are writing, and second for loop is used to displaying the content, or which can also be referred as the column what it contains as a result. So anything that we want to display as a result, that we have to write it in the second for loop, that is the inner for loop. In the first for loop, that is first outermost for loop, we are running to display how many number of rows we need to exhibit in the final output. So we have concluded. Second thing is we want 2 for loop. With this basic analysis, let us move on to write the code how we can print this pattern. First and foremost thing, here we are supposed to print the star in the location. Here suppose if we draw this as a table, this is how it looks like. If we convert it into a table, let me take 2 parameters to refer to for loop. One for loop with the I as a variable which refers to the rows, and one more for loop with the variable j which will be referred for printing the contents in the column. So when I refer, this I loop will be starting from 1 and it will be extending till 4 because I refers to number of rows. Here there are total 4 rows exist. So it indicates that for loop I will begin with initializing 1 and the condition it need to check is it need to reach maximum of 4. In the sense I is less than or equal to 4. When I refers to the j which is used to display the content or to represent to the columns what we refer. Here j is also beginning with 1 and it extend till 4 as well, but while referring to the display, first time it need to begin with the 1 star, second time it need to begin with the 2, next time it will be 3, next time it will be 4. So is there any relation between I and j now? Yes, it is. That is, when I is having 1, j will also have the value 1. When I is having 2, j will also have 2. Whereas when I is running with 3 value, j will also have 3. So when I is having the value 4, j will also have the value 4. So which indicates indirectly we can connect this j loop with respect to I so that we can print the pattern in a much more easier way. Now if we look into the code here, first we will be beginning with, now let us try to build the code with basic analysis of this pattern. First we will be beginning with header file and then the main function, and inside that I will be using two variables I and j to refer to rows and the columns, or in other terms rows, or how we are displaying the pattern. So first for loop we are running with I which is beginning with 1 and it need to extend till 4 because we are running with 4 rows. So I have started the initial condition as 1 and maximum condition that I need to run this till less than or equal to 4. Parallelly we are incrementing the I value, and this is what we refer as a outer loop which is used for printing the rows what we are referred in with respect to pattern. Now what is the inner loop? Here we have referred as j as a variable to run the inner loop. J will be beginning with 1 and the condition here that we have to write is, see, for the first time when j value is 1, this pattern will be displaying only one time, and when j is having the value 2, the two patterns need to be displayed. When j value is 3, 3 patterns need to be displayed. So as I mentioned previously, what is the connection between this I and j? Is there any relation between this? Yes. So this for second for loop, j loop, we have to run as the value of I. That is, j is less than or equal to I. And then parallelly we have to increment the j value. In the sense, here I value will be having 1, 2, 3 and 4. When the value of I is 1, it need to print 1 star. When the value is 2, it need to print 2 star. This work will be done under the j loop. And when the value of this is I, so when the value of I is 3, it need to print 3 stars. This is how we have written the condition is j need to less than or equal to I. When I value is 4, which need to run 4 stars. What is the major here the second for loop we have written to display the content, that is what we are printing here. We are printing the star. That we can simply write it in the printf statement. The content that I want to display to the output screen is star, that I have mentioned. And next, when it prints one star, after that the control need to come to the next line, that we are represented by using /n. So that is what we have written. This outer for loop is for displaying row. First row is printed. After that I need to come to the next row, that we are referring by writing printf /n in the outer for loop. So this is how we can print the simple pattern with the star with 4 different stars in a one particular format. Now, if we analyze this code, how it is working, we will begin I value with 1. With the I value 1, it will come inside the loop. Okay. Next, with the I value 1, j is equal to 1. Here it will check whether 1 is less than or equal to I. That is nothing but 1. Yes, the condition is true. So it is going to print 1 star at the output. That is in the intersection of I value 1 and j value 1, star is printed. Next, the statement, it is checking j value is getting incremented with the 2. It checks 2 is less than or equal to 1. No, condition is false. So it will execute the next statement. That's why the control will be coming to the next line. Here the control will be moved. Next, I value is getting incremented. Now I value will be 2. With the I value 2, j loop will be running. J equal to 1. J is 1 is less than or equal to 2. Condition is true. So it will print the next star in the location I equal to 1 and j equal to 1. And next, once again j is incremented. Now j value is 2. 2 is less than or equal to 2. Condition is true. So second star is printed. And next, after this, here it will be j is incremented. Now the value of j is 3. 3 is less than or equal to 2. Condition is false. That's why it will be printing the new line character. So the control moves to the next line. With next I value is getting incremented. Now I value will become 3. With the I value 3, it will once again run the inner loop by initializing j back to 1 and checks the condition 1 is less than or equal to 3. Yes, condition is true and it prints the star in the j equal to 1 location. This is printed. And next, once again it will increment the j loop. J will be 2 now. 2 is less than or equal to 3. Yes, condition is true. That's why the next star is printed. Once again j is incremented. Now j value will be 3. 3 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is true. So 3 is printed onto the output screen. Next step, it is j is incremented. 4, it will be checked. 4 condition is false and it will print the new line character. So the control will move from here to the next line. Next, proceeding with I value equal to 4. This for loop will run for 4 times. Now each time it will be printing star onto the output screen. Finally, it will print the new line. The cursor will be in this particular location. Now I value is getting incremented 5. It checks the condition 5 is less than or equal to 4. No, the condition is false. That's how it terminated this entire program. I have discussed in detail how it will be processed to display this pattern in this manner. So first and foremost, as a conclusion with respect to this pattern displays, first we have run the first for loop to represent the rows. That's why the condition is mentioned is I is less than or equal to 4. Here there are total 4 rows exist in a pattern. Second conclusion point we have come across is we are run the second for loop beginning with value 1 and it will be keep incrementing based on the previous for loop. That's why we have started j with 1 and we have given the condition as j is less than or equal to I, which is completely related to the previous loop. So here for printing purpose we have written the second for loop, and major printing what we are done is we are printing the star onto the output screen. And finally we have written this slash n to give a new line character after printing each rows. This is how this pattern is printed onto the output. Next we'll proceed with the next pattern, which looks almost similar to the previous pattern. This is complete. This pattern was reverse of the previous pattern what we have observed. Here the pattern is beginning with the 4 stars and it will be keep decrementing in each row. Okay, here also some basic questions that we need to answer ourselves before proceeding with what we are supposed to build a code. First, here we have to run the first for loop with how many rows are there? Here also total 4 rows are there. So condition we are finalized as I is less than or equal to 4. Second option here is the j for loop we have to run to display the content or the pattern onto the output screen, or we also refer it as a column display. So first it will be starting with 4 and 3, 2, 1. So what it indicates? Is it in any decrementing order it is working with? Yes, definitely. J will begin with 4 and it will be keep decrementing as the value of I changes. So if we build the code here, how it will look like? Yes, we will begin with the header file and main function, and I will be using I and j variable to run 2 different for loop. First for loop is referred for displaying the rows. Here the condition mentioned is I is less than or equal to 4, which will begin from the first row to it need to reach till the 4th row. That's why beginning is 1 and maximum condition is 4. If it is there is more number of rows, then just we need to make the changes to this particular condition. That is I is less than or equal to 8. If I mention, there will be total 8 rows will be displayed onto the output screen. So next condition here is the first we can observe there are total 4 stars are printing. So as I mentioned, j will be beginning with the 4 now. And what is the condition? It will be running parallel to I initially when j value is equivalent to 4, which need to display 4 different rows, and I value will be greater than or equal to 1. Why it is mentioned greater than or equal to 1? Here the j value is equivalent to 4 and greater than or equal to I. So 4 different values we have to print. That is 4 patterns we have to display, and j will be keep decrementing each time. One just we can make a note whenever there is less than or equal to, we normally prefer increment operator. When it's greater than or equal to, there will be normally we write decrement operator. That is we have started with the highest value. We will be keep decrementing that value. As we see here, the displaying is first 4, 3, 2, 1. That's why we have decremented this j value. And is it connected with I? Yes, definitely, because here when I value is equivalent to 1, it will be printing 4 times. When I value is equivalent to 4, it prints 4 times. When I value is 2, it need to print 3 times. When I value is 3, it need to print 2 times. And I value is equivalent to 4. That is 4th time when for loop is running, the j or this pattern need to be printed only 1 time. So this is the condition that we are checking is j is greater than or equal to I. Next, what is the major content that we want to display? Anyhow, that will be we will be mentioning in the inner for loop. Here also we are printing the star pattern. That's why we have mentioned with the printf statement. And After that printing, we have to give a new line character. So if we analyze this code in detail, how the execution will proceed, first with the I value 1, this outer for loop will begin. Next, after this, condition is true. Okay, J value will be set with the value 4, because in the very beginning we want to print 4 patterns. J value with the 4, and here it checks the condition whether 4 is less than or equal to 1. Condition is true. So that's why the first pattern is printed. Now J is getting decremented. J value is 3 now. 3 is greater than or equal to 1. Condition is true. Next, second pattern is printed. Now after that, once again the J value decremented. 2 it is equivalent to, yes. So when the J value 2, the next pattern will be printed. And when J becomes 1 and yes, condition is true, 1 is greater than or equal to 1, and the next pattern will be printed. This is how with I value 1, that refers to first row, all the 4 patterns are printed, that is inner for loop is totally executed for 4 times. Next, after that, the new line will be displayed. When I value with, once again, the outer for loop will run with the I value 2, and it will execute these pattern 3 times. This for loop will be executed for 3 times, and the pattern will be displayed in 3 different locations with J values. This is how each time there's a pattern display will be keep decrementing. So as a conclusion point here, 2 aspects that we have observed here is, first thing, we have to run the first outer loop for 4 times, because there is total 4 rows exist, and which will be beginning with 1 and which will be extending till 4, and it will be keep incrementing each time. When we refers to the second for loop, which will be beginning with, here the beginning condition is 1 and it will be maximum condition is 4. Whereas here it will be beginning with the 4 and max value, that is when it is completely connected to the I value. When I is running 4 times, it will print 4 times. When I is running 3, it will print 3 stars. That is the condition that we have checked here is J should be greater than or equal to I. And one conclusion remark I can mention with respect to this pattern is, here we have, if we are using greater than or equal to, then we normally use decrement operator. This is how we can print this pattern. Next, moving to the next pattern. This is the pattern how we want to display onto the output screen. Is it anyhow it is connected to the previous pattern that we have discussed? Yes, definitely. It is a combination of the patterns that we have discussed previously. This is the one pattern we have discussed now, and this is the second pattern that we have discussed. So this is how the output need to be displayed. That is the combination of the pattern what we have discussed as a first pattern and the second pattern. The code is very simple. We just need to combine the 2 programs what we have come across. Here, if we look into, it indicates clearly that the loop is getting incremented till 4 by starting with 1. So condition is I equal to 1 less than or equal to 4. And what is the one more condition with the J loop inside inner loop, which will begin with 1, 2, 3 like that. It will be keep incrementing. So we have to start with 1 and it will be 2, 3 like that. So it is less than or equal to I. Condition is we have mentioned, and J will be incremented. And the pattern need to be printed is star. This is how we can write the code to print this part of the code. Next we will write the second code what we have come across now, to print the second part of the output. So here it will begin with I value there are total 4 different rows, and I will be beginning with 1 and it need to extend till 4. We will use, let us fix the first for loop, fix it, and we will make the changes to the second for loop. First it will begin with 4 and next 3 to 1. So it is keep decrementing. So we have used decrement operation and we have to loop according to the I value. So we have connected to the condition with it need to proceed with the I loop. This is how we can combine the two codes together and we can run a new pattern. Next, proceeding to the next concept. Here, suppose if some patterns contain some space in between, then we can write some. First, here we are displaying some spaces. After that, we are printing some patterns. How we can do that? Here we will be coming across 3 aspects. So, major 3 aspects we have to look into. First, we have to display rows and then something we have to display as a space and then actual content need to be displayed. Rows we have to print either it can be fixed or can be evaluated by the user. Then we have to display the space which is printed like a pyramid shape since the pattern is printed in the middle. Next we have to display the data or the pattern what we want to print in a specific location where we want to be printed. So, which indicates that we are coming across 3 different aspects. So, we have to run 3 different for loop. First, for loop is used for rows, which first for loop need to run based on the number of lines need to be printed onto the output screen, and by providing the space as well. Second for loop is run for mentioning the space. In the beginning of the space was more and next it need to keep decrementing. So second for loop is responsible for mentioning the space. Third for loop is used for displaying the actual content. What we want to display as a pattern, which can be some numbers or some pattern or some character. Based on the type of the pattern, we have to run this loop. So here one major concept, when there is some pattern which are given will contain some space in the beginning. After that, if the pattern is getting displayed, in such case which indirectly say that we need to run 3 different for loops. So first one to run how many number of rows we want to print and how we need to display the space that is in the pattern and what is the content we need to display. So 3 for loops we are using. First one for rows and second one for displaying the space and third one for displaying the actual content. Now let us look into the pattern, how we can write the code to display this pattern. So in the very beginning here we are running across 3 spaces. After that we want to print the pattern, one pattern. Next we will be running 2 space. After that we want to display 2 patterns, 2 stars, and next we will be having only 1 space and 3 patterns will be 3 stars will be displayed. Now if we look into this, as we discussed, we will be running 3 for loops. So I will be using 3 different variables. I refers to rows for loop, J refers to space for loop, and D refers for displaying the contents. So first and foremost thing, this will remain as it is rows. As we observe here, there are total 4 rows. So I will be beginning with 1 and it need to extend maximum 4 less than or equal to 4. And next, this is the first outermost loop, and next for loop will be completely dedicated for displaying the space. So when I value is equivalent to 1, so how many space we could make out here? There are total 3 spaces present. So J loop will begin with value 3 and a maximum how long it need to extend. J should be greater than or equal to I. So maximum till I value equal to 1, it need to keep printing this spaces and J will be keep decrementing each time. The major content or display operation here is we have to display the space. That's why the printf statement we have just given the space. Next for loop is majorly used for displaying the content. In the after yes we have printed the space and next aspect is we have to print the pattern. So next for loop D will be beginning with the value 1 and this needs to extend till less than or equal to I, and that is in the essence first it will be printing 1 star, next 2, 3, 4. It is like a incrementing order, so it is directly proportional to I value. That's why we have given the condition is D is less than or equal to I as we discussed in the previous pattern. So what is the major content that we have to display? That is we are printing the star. This display what we want to give it to output screen will be written in the third for loop. And finally in the first for loop we are providing the new line. That's why we have written it in the first outermost for loop and we will be terminating the code. Now if we analyze this code step by step, when the I value is equivalent to 1, this first for loop is executed with value 1, J will be set with value 3. Okay, so J will begin with the value 3 and then it will be printing the actual space in the J3 is greater than or equal to I. Yes, in the third location it will be printing the, here it need not to start with the 4 itself, it will be beginning with 3, 2, 1 and 0 we can mention. So in the third location it will be printing this dash and the normal and next J is equivalent to 3, 3 is greater than or equal to 1, condition is true, it is printed this first dash and next the J is getting decremented. Now it is reached to here, let me refer it as a 3, 2, 1 and 0 so that it will be much more easier to refer. So since we have started the J loop from 3 onwards rather than 4. So here next one is it is going to print space is printed 1 space, next J is decremented, now J value is 2 and it checks the condition 2 is greater than or equal to 1, condition is true, so it prints the second space. Next J is decremented once again J, 1 it is, 1 is greater than or equal to 1, yes, condition is true and now printed dash. Now our cursor is in this current location. Next, the next for loop will be printed with the value D equal to 1 and D is less than or equal to I. So D will be pointing to this particular location here with the value 1. Here we have written as 3, 2, 1, right? So D will be pointing to in this particular location. And then after that D checks D is less than or equal to I. Yes, condition is true. In the first location we have already printed. So D will be next printf and star will be printed onto the next location. This is how it will be printing the star. So if we refer next the new line will be displayed after this. So next it will be running with the I value equal to 2. So same way first it will be now J value will be equivalent to 3 but I value will be 2. So from 3 onwards it will be printing 2 dashes here. After that the cursor will be waiting here and D will be located to 1 once again and it will be checking in this particular location first with the value 1 it will be displayed the star, and D is less than or equal to I condition is true. So here it will next star will be printed. So next the D value will be keep changing. So here it will be first it will be pointing to here, next it will be here, and next it will be here. Like this it will be keep changing the D location, and it will be printing that star in that particular location. This is how we can print the pattern in this manner. So here as a conclusion remark for this pattern, we will be coming across three aspects. That is, if we see first here some space is there while printing the content, first thing that we have to consider is we have to run three different loops. One is for printing rows, and second one to print the space, and next to display the actual content. Rows, here it is there are total 4 rows, that's why we are running this first loop for 4 times. Next space is beginning from the third location onwards when we display the output. So we are running J with the 3, and it will be working similar with respect to I value. And with respect to D we will be beginning with 1, and it will be parallelly working. It will be keep decrementing as we run with our loop. So first time it will be printing star, next it will print 2 star as the value of I. So here D will be 1 first time, next 1 and 2 it will be, and first time D will be pointing here, next it will be 1 and 2. So first, here compared to this, the D will be first time it will be pointing to here. So the first star is printed, next 2 stars will be going to printed. This is how this loop will be executed. Next, proceeding with the next pattern, which looks almost similar to the previous pattern. Only one change here is after displaying the star, it will be printing the space as well. See, here it is printed the star. After that, we could observe the space is also printed. So here also the pattern is printed. After that, it is enclosed with the space. How we can perform this? With the same previous code, we can work with slight changes in one single statement. So how we can proceed with? The same program I have referred, what we have checked previously to display the pattern. Here it will be beginning with 1, and J space will start from 4 onwards. That is, in the beginning there will be 4 spaces. This is completely related, that is, if this space will be 1 less than the number of rows, usually it will begin with. Like that, it will be keep decrementing as we proceed further. So first it is printed the space. Next, one major change what we are observing here is in the printing of the pattern, after printing the star, we have provided the space. In the sense, it has displayed the pattern. After that, it will leave one space, and next it will be moving to the next line. So if we run with one particular iteration with the D value 1, it checks 1 is less than or equal to 2, for example, I value. It will be printing the first star. Along with that, we have appended the space as well. That's why the space is printed. Next, D will be incremented now. 2 is less than or equal to 2. Condition is true. So, it is printing the star. Along with that, it will provide the space as well. With this simple change in the previous code, we can result with the new pyramid kind of pattern with providing the space. This is how we can implement this code by changing the simple logic in the previous code. Now, suppose if we want to print this pattern, what we have previously checked, that is, first it will display the spaces, and after that we are printing the pattern. Suppose if the user is want to give some rows as an input. In this example, user has entered as 5. Suppose if we want to give it as 8, 10 or 3, it is keep changing. In such case, how we can write the code? Same logic I will be using with the three different loops. First for loop is used for displaying the row, second one for displaying the space, and third one to display the actual content. So how we can work with? So here I will be just using some different variable names. That's it. So first I will be taking one more variable here as a number, which refers how many numbers that need to be displayed onto the screen. I will be storing it in the variable called as number. And here previous whatever the pattern that we have discussed, we were mentioning this condition depending on the number of rows we want to display. Now we will be taking that number of rows from the user. That's why instead of mentioning the number, we will be specify the variable name. So it will be keep changing depending on the user given input. So we have referred the first for loop for representing row, and second one we are running for displaying this space. Here small change that we have used here, since we have generalized the code to print for any user given number of rows. So here I will be starting this space loop with the 1, and how long we have to run this? That is number minus r. That is as we have observed in the previous example, if there is 4 different rows, then in the very beginning it need to print 3 spaces. Same way here, suppose if the number is 5, then 5 minus r. 5 minus r will be 1. So it will be the space it need to provide is 4, which works similar to the previous concept, but we have generalized with the one major logic is the space is always 1 less than the number. When it comes with the next iteration, here r will be 2. So 5 minus 2 it will be. So the number of space it provides is 3. So for the first time it will provide the space as 4. It will be keep decrementing as the next iteration. So it will be 4, next it will be 3. So next our loop will be running with the 5 minus 2 it will be, and next it will be 5 minus 3. So it will be running with the value 2. So it will be printing 2 spaces. Then here it will be next statement. Next loop is used to print the pattern onto the output screen. Here the pattern that we are printing is a star pattern. So this is how we can write the code to generalize for any given number of rows. Here the user will explicitly mention for how many number of rows. Then the first we will fix the first for loop for the user given number. It should run till that, and then we will provide the space, and next we will be displaying the actual content. Here is also it is connected with p is less than or equal to r, because r will be running for the first time 1, next it will be running 2 times, 3 times, like that. So the same way the pattern need to be displayed. This is how we can generalize the code. The same previous program, if we have generalized, one simple change what we have to make is, as we discussed previously, is we have to provide the space when we are displaying the pattern. So we are displaying the pattern in the third for loop. After printing the star, we are printing the space along with that. So how it looks, we have printed the star here. After that, we have provided one space, and then we are closing the printf statement. This is the one small change will help in displaying the pattern like this. So here first we will get the output statement as enter the number of rows. Suppose if the user has entered 3, then how will be the output? So only these much will be the output. First star will be printed, next star will be printed, and then space will be provided, then star will be provided, will be printed, then space. After that, in the third iteration, 3 stars will be printed along with the space. So here one major condition that we have referred is the space will be directly proportional to the number of rows it is need to print it. Number minus r. Suppose if we want to print 3 rows, then first it will provide in the beginning 2 spaces, next 1 space, and then next time for the third iteration there is no space. This is how we have to build the code. Next we'll see one more star pattern, which is the reverse of what we have discussed previously. This is how we were discussed. Now just it is first it will provide the space here also. After that the pattern will be moving as first it will be 4, then it will be 3, 2, 1. It will be keep decrementing. So how we can build the code? Here also I loop we need to first a few questions we have to keep answering what will be the answer for those questions, so that we will write the condition and how we have to run the for loop. First for loop we will be running from 1 to 4. Yes, we will be there are total 4 rows existence. Second for loop we will be need to provide for the space. Now one small change here. First there is no space first, then after that 1 space, 2 space and 3 space. So what it indicates, the space will be starting from 1 onwards and then it will be keep printing. So J will begin with 1 and then it will be keep decrementing in this case. Now after that here with the next statement we are trying to display the content. The actual content that we want to display is first it will print the 4 stars, next 3, 2 and 1. So our D loop or the display loop will begin with initialized condition as 4 and then it will be keep processing with respect to I loop. First it will print 4, next it will be 3, 2, 1. So as we have discussed previously, we have connected with the same condition. So we have written greater than or equal to I, D minus minus. Now if we look into the how it processed with the simple example, I will be 1 with, it will be moving inside the inner loop with the J value 1, with J value 1. It provides the space. Okay, first J will be equivalent to 1, 1 is less than or equal to 1, condition is true. So it provided the space in the very beginning. Next after that it will be printing with the D value. Here it initially first it will be printed the space here. Next it will be printing the fourth location. D equal to D will be pointing to this particular location. We have started with printing D from this, and D maximum will be running till I, that is I equal to 1. So first star will be printed, next third and fourth star, and then it will be moving to the next line. When we refer this I value, this is the first iteration. Next with the I value 2, the same process will perform. Now J will be 1, J is less than or equal to I value. So what is that? I value here is now 2. So this loop space will be printed 2 times. One will be here and one more will be starting from here. So 2 spaces will be printed. When it comes to the next time, it will be printing 3 spaces. One will be here and like this. So maximum J will be 4. 4 is less than or equal to 4. Condition is true. So total 4 spaces will be provided and then the star will be printed. This is how we can give the space and then we can run it. And we can also generalize, as we have seen in the previous code, this same pattern as well. One small change to the previous code, if we do, then we will be ending this reverse pattern display by providing the space. If we compare with the previous code, what are the two major changes that we have observed in this? First thing here is we are total I first for loop will remain as it is. With the second for loop, we will be running from 1 to till I. As I changes, this space will be keep changing. And second, one more condition that we are running is first we have to begin this D from printing 4 and then 3, 2, 1 like that. It is keep decrementing. Same logic holds good for printing this as well by appending space when we are printing the pattern. Here we have begin with I equal to 5 and we have started with the j equal to 4 and then it will be here it will be keep decrementing and it will be printed. So this by providing the space. Next, one more, if we are generalizing this, how this pattern need to be printed. First, we will be taking the number of rows. Yes, we have taken the rows. And then the major condition with respect to space. Here, the space is equivalent to number. Say, for example, the number is given as a 5. Then, space need to begin with 5 here. And then, space is greater than or equal to R. What is that R value? R is nothing but 5. So, in the fifth location, it is going to provide the space. And then space minus minus. Then first fifth location it is provided. Now space will be equivalent to 4. Whether 4 is greater than or equal to 5, no, condition is false. So it will be moving to the next iteration. So only in the fifth location, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, in this particular space will be provided in the very beginning. And then the first star will be displayed. How the star processing, it will begin with 1 and it will be keep incrementing. So star will display with the 1 and it will be less than or equal to R. This is how we can build the code to display the logic for this particular loop. And if we run the next pattern, if we can make any changes with respect to any of this, we can here the next pattern that we want to display is 1, next to 2 star, 3 star, 4 stars and 5 stars will be displayed. So how it will be working? So one question here asked is, what is the condition we have to specify? This, as we discussed, first for loop is responsible for displaying the rows. So how many rows are there here? Total 5 rows will be present. So I is less than or equal to 5. And here, as we observe here, when I value is equivalent to 1, 1 star will be printed. When I value is equivalent to 2, 2 stars will be printed. I value is equivalent to 3, then 3 stars will be printed. So, is it J second printing is somewhere connected to I? Yes. So, we have to write the condition is J is less than or equal to I. For the first time, it will be printing 1 star, second time 2, 3 like that as the I values. First for loop value, the second for loop will be keep running. This is how we can write the condition for this particular pattern display. Next, we'll see how we can print the number patterns. What is this number pattern? Suppose in the previous session we have discussed to display the stars. Now the patterns will be looking like this. We want to display some numbers as 1, 1, 2 and 1, 2, 3. How the code can be written? Is there any connectivity to the previous code what we have discussed? Yes. Only small change that we need to do is how we are displaying the content. In the previous thing we have displayed the star Now we have to display the value rather than that printing star. Here also same logic will hold good. First we will be checking how many number of rows are there. There are total 3 rows are there. So first for loop will be running starting from 1 to 3, beginning with I value 1 and condition is less than or equal to 3. And next loop is used for displaying the content. So for the first time the value 1 will be printed. Next 2 values are printed. For the next iteration 3 values are printed. So is it connected with the I loop? Yes, similar to as we discussed with the previous concept. J will begin with 1. So J is less than or equal to I and J will be incremented. Now the major question here is pattern that we want to display is number rather than the star pattern. So how we will run that, how we will display that pattern. With the I value 1, suppose if we proceed with the iteration, how it will be worked. J with the value J1, it will be J is less than, 1 is less than or equal to 1, condition is true. So first now 1 will be referred. Next I value will be J, suppose if it is 2, 2 is less than or equal to 1, condition is false. Now with the value 2, once again this I loop will be, with the I value 2, this J loop will be running. Now J will be set to 1 first and J1 is less than or equal to 2, condition is true. So J is running with 1. And once again J value will be incremented and now J value will be 2. Now it checks whether 2 is less than or equal to 2. Yes, condition is true. And next once again say for example this for loop will be running with value 3. Now J will be equivalent to 1. 3 is less than or equal to I. Condition is true. So J is working with first with the value 1. Next after this J is incremented. Now J value will be 2 and next J once again it checks the condition. J is incremented and checks the condition. 3 is less than or equal to 3. Condition is true. So this inner loop will be running till 3 1 2 3 depending on the I value. So what we have observed here is inner loop J loop will be processed with the J value first time as 1. Next time J will have the 2 values 1 and 2 and for the third iteration it will have 1 2 3. Is it somewhere it is connected to the given pattern? Yes. So what is the next statement we want to display? That is just if we print the J value, it will generate this corresponding pattern. So here is with the J iteration, we are trying to display the J value. First time it will be value 1. For the next with the I value 2, it will print 1 and 2. With I value 3, it will print 1, 2 and 3. This is how we can print the simple pattern with numbers as a final pattern as a display. 1, 1, 2 and 1, 2, 3. And along with that, we want to display the new line as well. That is how we will be processed. It will be attached with the outer for loop. So after this, we have to provide the slash n so that each time after printing 1, the cursor will be moved to the next line. This is how we can print the pattern by using this to for loop. If we look into the next example, slight variation to the previous code. Here first 1 will be printed, next 2 will be printed, 3 times and 4 times. So how we can make the changes to the previous code? Here the loop need to execute for 4 times. So condition we specified is I is less than or equal to 4. And J we started with 1 And how it need to proceed with. It will be first time 1 and next 2 times it need to run and 3 times, 4 times, like that. So we have connected this J condition with I. And what we are supposed to print, if you observe now, here with the I value 1 it will be coming, and with the J value 1 it will be processing. And what if we bring the I value here inside, first time it will print 1. Next time with the I value 2 it will come inside the J loop, and J will be initialized with the 1, and J is less than or equal to I. Yes, condition is true. And now also it prints the value of I. So what is the I value now? We have started with I value as 2. Is it over? No, the I is now 2. So once again this loop will execute. Now J value is 2 and checks the condition. 2 is less than or equal to 2. Condition is true. So once again it will print the value as 2. And next the J value will increment 3. 3 is not less than or equal to 2. Condition false. It will come out of that and it will be moving to the next line by the execution of this printf/n line. Next, with the value 3, how many number of times this inner loop will execute? It will run with 3 times. So it is going to print 3 onto output screen 3 times. This is how, by printing the value of I, we will be ending up with this pattern. First time it will print 1, second time 2, 3 and 4 depending on the running of I loop. Next, proceeding with the next pattern. Here the pattern is, rather than repeating, here there is something as continuous numbers we want to display. First it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will be in a incremental order. How we can proceed? One major hint it gives is we need to increment the value of some number. So how we can work with that? First, one more add on to the current code what we have discussed is, we will take one variable as num n with the initialized value as 1. So for the first iteration we want to print the value of n, and then it need to print from 2 onwards. What it indicates? It is nothing but we have to increment this n value. How we can do that? That we can simply do by using n++ inside the loop. So it will print 2 and also it will print 3. So where we have to write this n++? In which loop we have to write it? It is important. We have to write that in the inner loop. So that first time it will print 1 time, next time it will print 2 and third time it will print 3 values. So if we proceed with the code, the major first loop is running for displaying the rows. So total number of rows here are 5 rows. We have written the condition I less than or equal to 5. And next, the major loop for displaying the actual content onto the output screen. J will begin with 1 and it will be, since in each iteration 1 by 1 the number is keep incrementing. So I have written the condition J is less than or equal to ij++. And the major output that we want to display is n. Rather than I or j value, we want the incremented value each time. So I will begin with n, and here along with this I have attached the space so that with the space this output will be printed. First time n will be printed with the value 1. Next n will be incremented. What is the n value now? It will be 2. Is it is working once again? No. For the first time this inner loop will work only 1 time with the I value as 1. Next it will be printing the new line. So the cursor is in this location. When it run for the second time, first it will print the value 2 and n will be incremented. Now n value will be 3. So once again this loop will be executed. Now the 3 will be printed onto the output screen, and next the n value will be 4. But for the second iteration, j loop will be terminated and I value need to be incremented, and then it will be proceeded. This is how we can print the continuous values onto the output screen by using simple one extra variable by initializing with value 1. Same way, this pattern can be reversed by making the usage of logic what we have discussed in the previous concept. So we will begin with the 15 and then we can make that. Suppose if we change this n1 n++ location, what will happen? What is the resultant? Suppose instead of writing this n++ here, we will be writing this n++ outside this here. Suppose what will happen? What is the resulting output? What we can see? First it will be printing 1. Yes, it has terminated, and now n value will be incremented, so n value will be 2. So here when it comes to the next iteration, it will be printing the n value which was already set as 2. So it will be printing 2 times because this inner for loop will run for along with I value. I will be set with the 2 when it is running for the second time. So n will be incremented once again by this statement which was written outside the inner for loop. So for the third time it will print 3, 3, 3. So this is how it will be keep changing. For the fourth time it will print 4, 4, 4 like this. This is one more way how we can print this pattern by using this concept which is already discussed by some other aspect. Now suppose if we are using some decrement operator inside the for loop, how we can design the pattern what we have discussed previously. Is it possible to use some decrement operator? Yes, definitely. Suppose if I want to print this pattern which we have already discussed previously. First we will begin with 1 star, 2 star and 3 star. So how we can proceed by using the decrement operators in this for loop. So here as I mentioned, we need to use the decrement operator. So our control will be pointing to the last location. So after that we will be keep proceeding with the 1 by 1. So I will be initialized to 3 and I is greater than or equal to 1. In the sense maximum it need to run till 1 and I will be keep decrementing. And next, what is the major thing we have to display? With the j value equivalent, j will be pointing here with the value 3. J will be keep running till the I value and j will be keep decrementing. What we want to print with the j value 3, it need to print the star. So how many number of times it will be incremented? It will be printed with the j value 3. J will be 3 and greater than or equal to 3. Condition is true and the star will be printed 1 time for the first time. And then j value will be decremented. Now it checks whether 2 is greater than or equal to 3. The condition is false. Here 1, rather than mentioning the control to point here and there, we have change the way how it is displaying the index value. See here it will be 3, 2 and 1. Same way here also it will be j values will also be 3, 2 and 1. So first in the third particular location we are trying to print the star. Rather than pointing to the last location as I mentioned, this will be much more easier to analyze the concept. And then finally we will be printing the new line after printing this star to the output screen. This is how we can use the logic to write this particular code. So we will be starting with 3 and we will be using how long we have to reach till it reaches 1 and I will be keep decrementing. And here the maximum number of rows we will be writing here how long it need to proceed. And here we will be beginning with how the pattern need to be displayed, which will be mutually connected. So J will be starting with 3 and J is greater than or equal to I. This is how we can write the code. If we, one more way, what we can make the changes, like change here is, we can, rather than writing this way here, we can also write in the, instead of writing J equal to 3, we can write J equal to I, which is also nothing but J equal to 3, and we will be running J is less than or equal to 3. 3 is nothing but I value. This is also allowed. Here it will be using the combination of decrement and increment operator. And one more condition what we can also write to perform this same operation is, we will be beginning I value with 1, and how long we will be proceeding till 3 I plus plus. Whereas in the inner loop, we will start with J equal to I and J will be extended till 1. So this is a combination of both increment and decrement operator. In different aspects, we can try to execute the same kind of pattern. Just we have to play with the for loop. Next pattern is 1, 2 and 1, 2, 2 and 3. How we can run this pattern? By using the decrement operator. We have already checked this code, how we can perform by using increment operator. Now here I have started with 1 and I will be running till 3. Whereas in the inner loop, I will be running the decrement operator. So it will be beginning with I and J will run till 1. This is connected here. This is how. And then J will be keep decrementing. And we are trying to print the value of I. That's why it will be keep repeating the same numbers. 1 and second time it will be 2, 2 and third time it will be 3, 3. Same code. Suppose if we try to like slight change with the same code. Suppose if we try to print the value of I here, how we can proceed with? We have taken the larger I value, which we will be running from I value here, just a opposite of what we have discussed. I will be beginning with the 5 and it need to extend till 1. And J also will begin with 5 and it need to extend 1. And what we are printing in the location I equal to 5 and J equal to 5, we will be printing the 5. That is what we have written with I value. And for the next iteration, I will be now decrementing. So I will be 4 and J will be beginning with the 5. J is less than or equal to the fifth location of J, we are printing I value. That is nothing but 4. And J, once again it is decremented. Now J is 4. In that same fourth location also, we are trying to print the I value. That is 4. Next, we are printing the new line. After that, this I loop is going to execute once again with I value is 3. 3 with the 3 value, it is going to print this I value 3 times in the location 5, 4 and J. This is how, this is one slight change. What we have done is, instead of using the increment operators, we have changed the condition as well as parallelly we have used the decrement operator. One more pattern we want to display is, first I want to display 5, then 5, 4, then 5, 4, 3, like that. It is keep changing. So how we can use, is it any ways we can use the decrement operator? Yes. And the same code what we have referred previously, this will, suppose if we try to print the value of J instead of I, here we will be ending up with this pattern. How it will work? First, I will be 5. In this, it is previous code. We were trying to print the I value, which is also J's value as well. And next, we have printed the previous code. We were trying to print the I value. This was 4 and 4. Now, we are printing the J value. So, what is that? J value in this case here is 5 and 4. That is what we have printed onto the output screen. Next, we are printing the J. Once again, the values are 5, 4 and 3. This is what we have printed. 5, 4 and 3 onto the output screen. The change what we have done is, Instead of printing I in the previous code, we are now trying to print the J value. So now the J, how the loops are executed. First it will be executed with 5, and next 5 4 and 5 4 3 with the values, and next 5 4 3 2. Like this, how the J value is changing, that we are going to print as a pattern to the output screen. This is how we can make some small change in the previous code to obtain that pattern. Now moving to the next pattern. Here I want to begin with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the very beginning with the I value as 5, and it will be keep decrementing, and J will be keep incrementing. So how we can write the code? So for loop will be running from maximum I will be, if we since we are making use of here decrement operator as an example. We have already checked this code, how we can write the code by using increment operator. Suppose if we use decrement operator in the first for loop, we will need to begin with the 5, and we have to decrement the I value, so that number of times it is displaying is keep decrementing. So first time it is printing 5 4 3 2 1, like that. So that's why we have made the changes to the first for loop. Next, J loop will be connected with the 1, and it will be less than or equal to I, which is running in parallel with the first for loop. And the pattern that we want to print is the content of J value. What is that? First it will be first time this I will be running 5 times. I with the I value as 5. This J loop will be running for 5 times. 5 is less than or equal to 1. So with the 5, it will be I value equal to 5. In the Jth location, it will print 1, and then J will be incremented. Now J value will be 2. 2 is less than or equal to 5. Condition is true. So in the second location, so it will be printing the value of J. It is 2. Like that, it will be keep printing 1 2 3 4 5. That is the value of this J value. It will be printed onto the output screen, and then parallelly after that, it will be moving the cursor to the next time, and with the I value as 4, this inner loop will be executing 4 times. J with value 1, 2, 3 and 4. This is how we can write this code to implement this pattern. Next, we'll